So WWE just proved once again that they have zero respect for their future stars. What we witnessed on the 12th of October 2025 wasn't just a match, it was a calculated burial of one of the most promising talents in professional wrestling today. And if you think I'm overreacting, stick around because the evidence is damning, and somebody needs to call out this absolute travesty. They brought back two legends who haven't been full-time in years just to absolutely demolish Bron Breakker in what can only be described as corporate sabotage. But here's what really grinds my gears, and tell me in the comments if you agree. Why does WWE keep doing this? Why do they keep feeding their young lions to these part-timers who show up twice a year, collect their massive paychecks, and vanish while the full-time roster carries the company on their backs week after week? Let's talk about what actually went down, because this isn't just disappointing, it's infuriating on every level. The night started with Bron Breakker cutting one of the most intense promos we've seen in months. The man was fired up, talking about how he's tired of living in his family's shadow, tired of people comparing him to his uncle Rick Steiner and his father Rick Steiner, and ready to prove he's the most dominant force in WWE today. The crowd was eating it up. You could feel the energy in that arena. This is a guy who's been putting on absolute bangers week after week, carrying segments, making everyone he works with look like $1 million. Then the music hits. Batista's theme echoes through the arena, and the place erupts. Look, I love the animal as much as the next fan. The man's a legend, a multiple-time world champion, Hollywood star, and someone who helped define an entire era of wrestling. But here's my question for you, does Batista need another big win in 2025? Drop your thoughts below because I'm genuinely curious what you all think about this. But it gets worse, because Batista doesn't come alone. The pyro explodes, and out walks Brock Lesnar with Paul Heyman by his side, that smug grin on his face like he already knows how this story ends. Now we've got two legends, two absolute specimens, two part-timers who are going to team up against one full-time workhorse who's been grinding every single week. The math ain't mathing, folks. When the bell rang, what we got was approximately 18 minutes of what I can only describe as systematic destruction. And yeah, the match was physically impressive. These guys are all incredible athletes, but narratively, creatively, this was character assassination. The opening sequence saw Breakker coming out like a house on fire. He hit Batista with a clothesline that would have decapitated a normal human being. He connected with a Frankensteiner on Lesnar that had the crowd on their feet. For about 3 minutes, Bron looked like the unstoppable monster he's been built up to be. He was showcasing that freakish combination of power and agility that makes him so special. Quick trivia for the comment section: how many times has Bron Breakker successfully defended a championship in his WWE career? Let's see who the real fans are. But then the tide turned, and it turned hard. Lesnar caught Breakker mid-spear attempt and just launched him across the ring with an overhead belly-to-belly suplex that made my back hurt just watching it. The kid, and I say kid with respect because he's 27 years old and already this good, crashed into the corner like a ragdoll. What followed was a masterclass in veteran ring psychology, but also a masterclass in burying your talent. Batista and Lesnar started working over Breakker with the efficiency of two men who've been doing this for decades. Batista hit a spinebuster that planted Bron so hard I'm surprised the ring didn't crack. Lesnar followed up with German suplex after German suplex after German suplex. I counted 8 of them, each one more devastating than the last. The crowd was chanting "This is awesome," but I'm sitting here thinking, this is awful for Breakker's credibility. Around the 12-minute mark, there was this sequence that's already viral on social media. Breakker managed to create some separation and hit both legends with a double clothesline. The place went nuclear. He hulked up, fed off the crowd's energy, and you could see it in his eyes. This was his moment. He hit Batista with a power slam, then turned around and caught Lesnar with a running shoulder tackle that actually knocked the beast down. The momentum had shifted. This was Breakker's redemption arc playing out in real time. He was climbing to the top rope, something we rarely see from him, clearly going for something high risk to put these legends away. The crowd was standing, phones out, ready to capture history. But here's where my blood pressure skyrocketed. Paul Heyman, that manipulative genius, grabbed Breakker's foot from outside the ring. Just enough distraction. Just enough hesitation. And in that split second, Batista recovered and hit the ropes, causing Bron to lose his balance and crash crotch first onto the turnbuckle. The crowd groaned in sympathy. I groaned in frustration, because we all knew what was coming next. Let me ask you something, and be honest in the comments, are you tired of the same old interference finishes? Because I sure am. Lesnar tagged himself in, not that tags really mattered at this point because the referee had lost complete control of the match. He picked up the dazed Breakker, who was running on pure instinct and heart at this point, and delivered not one, not two, but 3 consecutive F5s. The first one would have been enough. The second was overkill. The third was just disrespectful. But they weren't done. Batista tagged back in, looked at the barely conscious Breakker, and you could see him calling for it, the Batista Bomb. He lifted that 230-pound athlete like he weighed nothing, and boom, Batista Bomb right in the center of the ring. The impact was sickening. Batista made the cover, hooked both legs, and the referee counted 1, 2, 3. The legends win. The part-timers prevail. The future of WWE gets sacrificed on the altar of nostalgia once again. Now, I know some of you are typing in the comments right now saying, it's just one match, stop overreacting. But is it just one match? Let's look at the pattern, shall we? This is the same company that had Goldberg squash The Fiend in seconds. The same company that had Brock Lesnar end the streak. The same company that consistently brings back legends to overshadow their current roster. And while some of those moments made sense storyline-wise, this one doesn't. Bron Breakker didn't gain anything from this loss. He didn't look strong in defeat. He got absolutely demolished by 2 guys who aren't going to be around next week, next month, or maybe even next year. Meanwhile, Bron's got to show up Monday on Raw and somehow maintain credibility as a top-tier threat. Here's what really gets me. WWE has spent the last year building Breakker as this unstoppable force. He's beaten everyone they've put in front of him. He's had incredible matches with Gunther, Sheamus, Seth Rollins, all full-time talent who made him look like the future. And in one night, one match, 18 minutes, they've potentially undone months of character development. Trivia time: who was the last WWE superstar under 30 to beat a returning legend in their first encounter? Think about it and drop your answer below. Credit where credit is due, all 3 men worked their asses off in that ring. Batista, at 56 years old, was moving better than he has in years. Those years in Hollywood clearly haven't slowed him down much. The Spinebuster still looks devastating. The Batista Bomb still pops the crowd. The man's a professional through and through. Lesnar was also an absolute freak of nature who doesn't seem to age. At 48, he's still throwing people around like they are children. Those German suplexes were picture perfect. The F5 still looks like it could legitimately end someone's career. His presence alone elevates any segment he's in. But Breakker? That man gave everything he had. Every bump he took looked brutal. Every comeback he mounted felt genuine. The fire in his eyes, the desperation in his movements as he tried to overcome impossible odds, that's the performance that deserves recognition. He made that match matter even though the outcome was predetermined to disappoint us. So where do we go from here? That's the million-dollar question, isn't it? WWE has a few options, and depending on which path they choose, this could either be remembered as a terrible booking decision or the beginning of a redemption arc. Option 1, Breakker gets his revenge. Maybe at Survivor Series, maybe at a future premium live event, he gets to face one or both of these legends again and actually wins. It would help, but the damage is already partially done. Option 2, this loss motivates Breakker to become even more aggressive, more dangerous. He goes on an absolute tear through the roster, taking out his frustration on everyone in his path. This could work if they commit to it. Option 3, and this is what I'm afraid of, they do nothing. This match gets forgotten. Batista and Lesnar ride off into the sunset with another notch on their belts, and Breakker has to rebuild his momentum from scratch. Let me know in the comments, what would you do if you were booking Bron Breakker after this loss? This match is a microcosm of WWE's ongoing struggle between honoring their past and building their future. And look, I get it, legends draw money. Batista and Lesnar on a poster sell tickets. Their names trend on social media. Casual fans who haven't watched in years might tune in to see them. But at what cost? How many times can you sacrifice tomorrow for yesterday before you run out of tomorrows? WWE has the most talented roster they've had in years. Guys like Bron Breakker, Austin Theory, Carmelo Hayes, Trick Williams, these are the people who should be getting these spotlight moments. These are the stars who'll be around for the next decade carrying this company. Instead, we keep getting these nostalgia pops that feel good in the moment but leave a bitter taste when you really think about them. The 12th of October 2025 episode of WWE programming gave us a match that was simultaneously incredible and infuriating. The athleticism was off the charts. The star power was undeniable. But the booking, the decision-making, that's where this falls apart. Bron Breakker deserved better. The fans deserve better. And honestly, even Batista and Lesnar deserve better than being brought back just to squash the future. Here's my final question for all of you. On a scale of 1 to 10, how angry are you about this match result? And do you think WWE can recover Breakker's momentum, or is the damage already done? Drop your rating, share your thoughts, and if you're as frustrated as I am about WWE's booking decisions, smash that share button and let's get this conversation trending. Maybe, just maybe, if enough of us speak up, WWE will start putting their full-time roster first. Until next time, this is Wrestling Zone 1, and remember, legends are built, not borrowed.